What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to some more Bible reading. So, Exodus 5, here we go. If you missed the last couple of chapters, basically it was God telling Moses, here's the plan for getting my people out of Egypt. Moses keeps resisting a lot because he doesn't think he's the right guy for it. So eventually God's like, fine, talk to Aaron, he'll help you. So then he goes back to Egypt, meets up with Aaron, they gather some of the Israelite leaders and talk about what's going to happen, and then that's kind of where we are now. So, here we go, Exodus 5, verse 1. After this presentation to Israel's leaders, Moses and Aaron went and spoke to Pharaoh. They told him, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Let my people go, so that they may hold a festival in my honor in the wilderness." "Is that so?" retorted Pharaoh. "And who is the Lord? Why should I listen to him and let Israel go? I don't know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go." I mean, kind of an understandable response on Pharaoh's part, to be honest with you. I mean, Pharaoh does not believe in, the God of Israel. Therefore, why should he listen to a God he doesn't believe in? But anyway, so unsurprisingly, the first attempt, the nicest, most polite attempt probably at convincing Pharaoh to let the people go, doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But, verse 3. But Aaron and Moses persisted. "The God of the Hebrews has met with us," they declared. "So let us take a 3-day journey into the wilderness so we can offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. If we don't, he will kill us with a plague or with the sword." Pharaoh replied, "Moses and Aaron, why are you distracting the people from their tasks? Get back to work. Look, there are many of your people in the land, and you are stopping them from their work." So they kind of answered Pharaoh's question about, who the Lord is, further explaining that they mean the God of the Hebrews / Israelites. But now Pharaoh's all concerned about the work getting done, which, his response talks mostly about, the in the moment kind of work getting done, but it also kind of hints at that he's just generally concerned about the work that they're doing. And if he's concerned about that, then why would he let the people go to worship? So, verse 6. That same day, Pharaoh sent this order to the Egyptian slave drivers and the Israelite foremen. "Do not supply any more straw for making bricks. Make the people get it themselves. But still require them to make the same number of bricks as before. Don't reduce the quota. They are lazy. That's why they are crying out, 'Let us go and offer sacrifices to our God.' Load them down with more work. Make them sweat. That will teach them to listen to lies." So, not only is Pharaoh like, "No, you're not going anywhere," he's almost indignant at the fact that they would even make such a request. He makes it sound to the slave drivers and foremen that, the people are just getting lazy. Like, if they were really working their hardest, why would they even have a thought about, going to offer sacrifices? That's the way he's trying to, sort of frame it. But really, he just wants to make them work harder. Verse 10. So the slave drivers and foremen went out and told the people, "This is what Pharaoh says. I will not provide any more straw for you. Go and get it yourselves. Find it wherever you can. But you must produce just as many bricks as before." So the people scattered throughout the land of Egypt in search of stubble to use as straw. Meanwhile, the Egyptian slave drivers continued to push hard. "Meet your daily quota of bricks, just as you did when we provided you with straw," they demanded. Then they whipped the Israelite foremen they had put in charge of the work crews. "Why haven't you met your quotas either yesterday or today?" they demanded. I mean, it's pretty obvious why they haven't met their quotas, but, you know, they're kind of just following Pharaoh's orders, essentially. But still, like, if you were given some equipment to do things before, and now you're, without some of that, generally makes the job harder. I can't even imagine trying to do my job without, the little kind of cell phone-ish devices they give us that, we look up the list of items that we need and it shows us where they're supposed to be and all that kind of stuff. I'm just imagining trying to do my job without that. It's like you'd almost have to have one central computer or something that would give you, a list of items for a person's order. You'd like handwrite them all down and then go out into the store without, the extra information in front of you of where those items are supposed to be. Now, I mean, I've done it long enough that I would generally know where most of the items are supposed to be, but still, it's the rest of it that would make it so much more work. So, expecting the same amount of output while lacking certain equipment, not exactly a fair, expectation. But anyway, verse 15. So the Israelite foremen went to Pharaoh and pleaded with him. "Please don't treat your servants like this," they begged. "We are given no straw, but the slave drivers still demand make bricks. We are being beaten, but it isn't our fault. Your own people are to blame." But Pharaoh shouted, "You're just lazy, lazy. That's why you're saying, 'Let us go and offer sacrifices to the Lord.' Now get back to work. No straw will be given to you, but you must still produce the full quota of bricks." So Pharaoh just kind of hammering home to them what he had already said, especially to the Egyptian slave drivers. It says he said that to the foreman already. So this is more of, I think, the foreman, this is not that they were lacking information. This is them being desperate and saying, like, the slave drivers are working us too hard. We can't do all this work without the straw. And I mean, sometimes there might be something that is the rule or the expectation, and it might not necessarily be completely followed to the letter. Honestly, there are probably a lot of, places of work where at least little things here and there kind of aren't quite by the letter. But anyway, Pharaoh just responds with, "No, you're lazy. Get back to work. I don't want to hear any notion of, going to sacrifice to your God." So anyway, verse 19. The Israelite foremen could see that they were in serious trouble when they were told, "You must not reduce the number of bricks you make each day." As they left Pharaoh's court, they confronted Moses and Aaron, who were waiting outside for them. The foreman said to them, "May the Lord judge and punish you for making us stink before Pharaoh and his officials. You have put a sword into their hands, an excuse to kill us." Then Moses went back to the Lord and protested, "Why have you brought all this trouble on your own people, Lord? Why did you send me? Ever since I came to Pharaoh as your spokesman, he he has been even more brutal to your people, and you have done nothing to rescue them. So the foremen kind of take it out on Moses and Aaron, since Pharaoh mentioned that whole going to offer sacrifices thing, which he would have only heard about from Moses and Aaron, or they knew that he had heard about it from them. So when Moses and Aaron hear that essentially, their people are being forced to work even harder now because of what they said, Moses, skeptical as always, is like, "What? Why did you send me here? Why is this even happening? You told me to come here and talk to Pharaoh so that you could deliver your people. No delivering is happening right now. So what's the point?" So that seems to be kind of the general mindset of Moses here. And, sometimes we have a habit of adapting a similar mindset, when things don't go the way we hope they will. It can be pretty clear sometimes that God wants us to do a certain thing, especially at a certain time. But when it doesn't work out the way that we expect it to, then we get all sort of, we get all bothered by it and just kind of say, "God, what's the point? This isn't working. Why did you, assign me to this? Why did you tell me to do this thing?" But really, if you look back at previous chapters in Exodus, and, when God was laying out the plan to Moses initially, he said that Pharaoh's heart would be hard, that, he would be stubborn and not want to let the people go. So then the plagues would come. But Moses seems to have this notion that he was going to talk to Pharaoh, and then the initial dismissal would happen, and God would, immediately step in after that and start bringing the plagues and such. So, Moses had one idea of the timeline of events, while God had, a slightly different timeline in mind. And that can happen a lot with us in life too. So if you're feeling that kind of way about your own situation, just know that God is probably thinking of things a little different. Maybe even just has a different timeline than what you were thinking of. But what you're doing, as we will find later in Exodus, has a purpose. So I guess that's it. There were literally no footnotes in this chapter. I think that's a first. But anyway, that kind of wraps up my thoughts on it, I guess. All right, so that's going to do it for this time around. As always, like and share if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and click the bell to get updates when I post new ones. Look down in the description for info on social media pages and how to find and follow and all that good stuff. And of course, leave comments down below all that with any thoughts that you have. So yeah, that's it. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you for the next chapter of Bible reading. But until then, stay cool, people.